Alright, The Wheel in Space was uploaded 4 months late. So looking ahead, what will be the next big change in Doctor Who? I ask my viewers hoping for an answer, although I know it's never gonna come because this is a video, and no one's watching live. Anyway, for those of you who don't know, writer Robert Holmes is considered a Doctor Who legend among fans. He gave us such genius as Terror of the Autons, Pyramids of Mars, and the Caves of Androzani. Yes, he has given us some clunkers like The Power of Kroll and The Space Pirates, but today we will be talking about his first, which has a long and interesting production history. The story begins with a sci-fi serial called The Trap. A proposed serial, independent of Doctor Who, submitted by Holmes in 1962. It was rejected. 3 years later, he submitted it to Verity Lambert to be produced for Season 2 of Doctor Who, but it was rejected because its villains were too similar to the Mechanoids to be featured in The Chase later that year. Jump to 1968, where it was submitted as The Space Trap, but put in storage by script editor at Jerry Davis at the time, because they had enough scripts for the season. Sadly, Dick Sharple's Prison in Space story had to be cancelled after the invasion for unknown reasons, and Terrence Dicks, as the new script editor, took The Space Trap and turned the story into the story that was made. The Krotons. Let's begin with episode 1. The story begins in the learning hall, where Cyrus picks out Abu and Vanna to become companions of the Krotons. They've been chosen because they're the smartest and are congratulated. Elik, played by Doctor Who veteran Philip Maddock, invests them with robes. Vanna's boyfriend Thera tries to stop her from going, while Abu has already left. Outside, the TARDIS materializes and outsteps the Doctor, Jamie, and Zoe. Jamie complains about the smell, while Zoe notices that the smell that he's smelling has to be some sort of sulfur. They go off to explore, and the Doctor finds a piece of mica in the city. He comments that the gravity is a little high to have this type of city that they built. They find a doorway into a building, while Jamie notices that the smell is stronger here. The Doctor wonders what the door is made out of, and he says that they should probably go. They duck behind the rocks as Abu staggers out, almost in a drunken stupor. He's gassed and falls to the ground dead. The Doctor, Jamie, and Zoe examine the body and go away. Cyrus tries to tell Tharan that Vanna must go through and is attacked for it. The Doctor, Jamie, and Zoe go into the mix of people while the Doctor says that Abu has died outside. Vanna still wants to go to save her boyfriend's life or something like that. So she goes through the door and Jamie and Zoe connect the dots. They try to stop it while Jamie overpowers a Gond. The Doctor demands to know what's happening to Vanna. Elik and Thara explain what happens. Cyrus went a step back because the three had been in the wasteland outside, which is radiated, while the Doctor, Jamie, and Joy rush off to save Vanna. Thara runs after them. At the other end of the machine, the Doctor jams the jets with the rocks, and they hide as the door opens and Vanna steps out, in the same drunken stupor as Abu was. The Doctor grabs her just before the rocks fall, and his umbrella is all torn up from the gas. Vanna is unresponsive in a catatonic state. Thara is just taken to his father's house at the edge of the community. At Cyrus's home, he explains to Jamie and Zoe that the Krotons have been friends of them. The Doctor hypnotizes Vanna to sleep, while it's explained that the two best students are always given to the Krotons to become companions. The Gonds also don't know what the Krotons look like. Vanna goes to sleep, and Cyrus explains that the Silvermen came out of the sky and killed hundreds in a war, but this is, of course, all according to legend. Some Gonds, including Thara, attack a janitor in the learning hall who's forbidden to discuss secrets of the Krotons. They give their orders through messages on paper or a voice over a PA. Only the companions of the Krotons actually see them. The Gonds decide to smash learning machines hoping to draw them out. Cyrus continues to explain that they learned from the teaching machines, or according to Gon laws, given to them by the Krotons. The Doctor says that this isn't slavery, and that it's time that this slavery business was all stopped. Jamie says that Cyrus must tell the truth on what happened to all of their best students. He has a point of not wanting to start a war with the janitor, with janitor Beta, who comes in and tells them what Cyrus Group is planning on doing, so they rush off to stop them from starting a war. In the learning hall, the smashing of the machines has already begun, while inside, an X appears on a screen. There's some beeping and a voice yells to stop, warning them to leave or else. The Doctor intervenes, stopping them from smashing all the machines, while inside a screen shows a picture of the Doctor. Then a snake thingy with a light at its head comes out of the wall and focuses on after the Doctor, attacking him. This leads into episode 2, where the Doctor covers his face, which confuses the snake light thingamajig. Zoe surmises that the Krotons know who the Doctor is as the snake kills one of the students, then retreats back into the wall. Sarah tries to provoking the Krotons, but is warned by them to leave or else. Sarah says that they should leave, so they do so. Back at Cyrus's home, the Doctor examines Varna further with something he got from Beta. He and Zoe point out that the amount of gaps in the knowledge of the Gons. They ask if it's safe to look around the learning hall now, while Jamie is instructed to take Varna small pills when she wakes up, and Cyrus demands to go with them. On the way, the Doctor points out a trapdoor to the underhall, and they take a peek down the dark hole. Zoe waits above while the Doctor explores and uses the teaching machines out of boredom. Inside the machines, it seems she did well. The Doctor notices her and snaps her out of it, and berates her. She says it was easy and the Krotons are pleased. Cyrus notices that Zoe has the best score twice than the best students of the Gons. Vanna wakes up and starts babbling about burning. Thara calls her, and as she says there was burning and flashing lights. She comes down eventually, and Thara reassures her that she'll be alright. Jamie puts her into a fit when he mentions the Krotons, forgetting to give her the pills. Zoe and the Doctor examine the machine entrance, which is organic with some sort of crystalline life form. There's a gong, and Cyrus takes the message that Zoe has been selected to become a companion of the Krotons. Cyrus says that Cyrus says that she must go, while the Doctor goes to take the test, so he and Zoe get a great bit of comedy on who's smarter of the two. The Doctor is almost as clever as Zoe. He gets more than Zoe, and they notice the Krotons make you feel highly of them through slight subliminal messaging. The gong reads that the Doctor has been selected, and they both enter the machine reluctantly, although Jamie tries stopping them, being too late. Inside, the Doctor and Zoe wander around in the spaceship without any sort of crew. They sit down in some chairs and notice a force generator. It starts running, and the force is applied to the two of them as the Doctor tells Zoe just to relax. While outside, Jamie's mad at Cyrus, who goes to find her way in. We're shooting to a really weird sequence where the Doctor and Zoe look into some tanks, and the Doctor takes out some liquid. He says it's crystals in suspension as a sort of primeval soup. They take a run as a claw comes towards them both. We get our first good look at a Kroton, which is made out of crystal. Its design is really good until you look towards the feet, which has an obviously tacked on skirt to hide the actor's legs. Outside, Jamie looks for a crowbar, while the Doctor and Zoe run through a section of tubes and come out a door which traps them. The Doctor uses a piece of mica to get the door open. They run, avoiding the ramp as they escape from the dispersion guns. The Krotons follow on a scanner in order the Gons to bring back the two of them. They notice Jamie, who isn't a Gon, so they decide to let Jamie inside the machine. Cyrus tells Jamie not to enter, but he does so anyway, with the crowbar, where he's grabbed by the Krotons. They use the force generator on Jamie to test his mind. Finding him to be primitive, they remark that he will be killed by their power. This leads into episode 3, where Jamie falls over and the Krotons decide to keep him in to interrogate. The Doctor leads Zoe back to the TARDIS, where Jamie gives up information about where he's from, who the Doctor is, and what the TARDIS is. The Krotons put the dispersion unit towards the TARDIS, while Jamie can't believe as he sees the Doctor and Zoe go into the TARDIS to supposedly leave them. Eelik and Axis go to Beta to see if he'll help them revolt against the Krotons, but Beta is against the idea that they can beat the Krotons because they're all ignorant. Eelik tells Beta to forget that the Doctor, because they all went into the machines to be dead or just to become mindless like Vanna. Vita says that he'll need time to develop something to help them with their revolution, while Elec is convinced that he can free them only in one day. A Croton leaves the machine, calling it the Dynatrope, to fetch the Doctor and Zoe. Jamie's asked questions that he can't answer, while the Croton outside is shown to go up into the mountainside. Vanna is getting better and is expected to recover by morning, while Cyrus tells Thara that the travelers are gone, and he has to go to a council meeting. Vanna wakes up but goes straight back to sleep again, and Jamie is told that he is to be dispersed. Thara tells Cyrus that Elec has overthrown him and is going to march on the machine. Cyrus says the only way to fight them is not to let the Crotons suspect the Gons. Vita tells Elec that he's going to start a massacre and the weapons that they have aren't good enough. While Jamie tries to escape by keeping the Crotons talking, is able to pick up a gun, while outside, the Croton is still wandering around. The Doctor and Zoe find that the life system is based on tellurium. The Doctor looks for some sulfur to try to find and figure out that hydrogen sulfuride, the worst smell in the world, is in the air or nearby. Zoe wants to go and explains that tellurium, but the Kroton arrives and tells them that they must return to the Dynatrope. In the Dynatrope, Jamie shoots the Kroton, but the gun is ineffective and it corners him. This allows the Doctor and Zoe to run from the Kroton outside, which is ordered to destroy the TARDIS. The Doctor and Zoe realize that the Kroton can't see without instructions. It shoots the TARDIS and returns to the Dynatrope while Jamie plays dead. The TARDIS has dematerialized and rematerialized on a different clip, and the Doctor explains that he had set the HADS, aka the Hostile Action Displacement System. They go back to the city of the Gons. Elec has taken over and Cyrus tries to get them to stop the upcoming attack. The weapons are prepared and Cyrus tells Beta about the Underhall, where the supports are, to the Dynatrope. James is able to escape, but overhears that in 3 hours the Dynatrope will exhaust. The Doctor and Zoe run into Thara and Vanna, who are evacuating due to the attack against the Krotons. The Doctor and Zoe have Thara take them to Beta. Under the Dynatrope, the pillars are being demolished. The Doctor shows Beta a chemical formulant to try to stop the Krotons, and they realize that Jamie is in the machine. Thara and Vanna decide to stay behind because Vanna feels too faint to move. The Croton's head starts to spin while the pillars are getting closer to smashing. The Gons run away as the machine starts to crash. The Doctor comes in and tries to warn them as it comes crashing down around him. This leads into episode 4, where Thara goes down and helps Zoe find the Doctor before the damage gets any worse. Cyrus finds Vanna and tells him of the Doctor. Thara finds the Doctor, who is fine, and they dock when more rocks fall down on them. Jamie's still in the Dynatrope when the quaking starts. He makes it to the tubes, and the Krotons start emergency power and restore the balance of the Dynatrope. Thara has fractured her leg and Zoe makes a splint for her. They need to hurry before more rocks come crumbling down. The Doctor and Cyrus notice liquid seeping out of the machine, and his hand is sulfuric acid. He and Zoe are informed of Jamie, and they try to go in and save him. Jamie is at the doorway out when he finds the mic has fallen out of the circuit, which he decides to replace. Elec tells Cyrus that he's done enough, although this mess is all Elec's fault. Cyrus points out that the machine is damaged, and Elec must mount an attack when he finds the dead bodies. Cyrus is put under arrest, while a Kroton comes out of the machine into the learning hall. He tells the Gons to stop and demands to see the Doctor and Zoe. Elec tries to argue, and another Gon is disintegrated. The Gons have 15 minutes because they're needed to operate the Dynatrope spaceship. Elec agrees while Jamie makes it out of the Dynatrope just as the guns go off. The Doctor tells him to tell Beta to make sulfuric acid and meet him at the learning hall. Jamie and Beta start making the stuff in bulk while Beta decides to experiment himself with the chemicals. Vanna tries to leave to warn the Doctor while Cyrus distracts Axis with the possibility of using the Doctor and Zoe as means of negotiation. Vanna is caught and is dragged back into the learning hall. The Krotons have power for 27 more minutes before they die, and the Doctor and Zoe are captured by Elec. They're forced into the Dynatrope, missing the bottle of sulfuric acid. The Krotons prepare to take off in the Dynatrope, while Cyrus falls into the Dynatrope with the bottle of acid. He's killed by the Krotons, but gives the bottle to the Doctor and Zoe. The Doctor realizes the Dynatrope will explode with energy if the two use their minds so that they can take off. The Krotons explain that 2 of them were killed as the Doctor hands the acid to Zoe. Beta and Jamie bring acid as Axis and Vanish tell what Eagleck did. Jamie tries to attack him, but he's held back. Eagleck explains that they're evacuating because when the Dinotrope takes off, the city will be destroyed. Beta, Thara, Vana, and Jamie stay to try and save the Doctor. The Doctor thinks that if anything contaminates the tank, the Krotons will die. Zoe and the Doctor argue on where they stand while they wait because the bottle of acid has disturbed the tank. They put on headsets, stalling while the acid makes its way to the Krotons through the tubes. It works, however, and the Krotons fall over and dissolve. The Doctors are running as the Dinotrope melts around them. They explain what happened to the Krotons as the acid the Gons poured on the machines works to dissolve the Dinotrope. The Doctor, Jamie, and Zoe slip away unnoticed, and Thara says that he will be the leader, which is his right, and that they will find out their own answers, ending the story. Alright, so, final thoughts? Although I love the writing of Robert Holmes, I can't say that this is one of his best works. The problem is that the story isn't very interesting. Although it is only 4 parts, it drags throughout the episodes at a very slow speed, making it very boring. It also is kind of generic, with nothing that would stand out if this were written by just a one-off writer who wouldn't come back to the series. There are a few positives, though. The acting and directing are great. I mean, it's directed by David Maloney, who did do quite a few classics, especially with Patrick Trout, and the acting's good with Patrick Trout and Wendy Padbury, and having some great comedy off of each other, and the sets look nice. Fraser Hines is a negative because Jamie really doesn't do anything in the story except to be an errand boy to the Doctor and Zoe. So, all in all, I give Doctor Who, The Krotons, a 45% for being below average with good acting, but a really bad story to go along with it. I can't really recommend the story, but if you still want to get it, it was released on DVD in 2012 in all regions. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time when we reach a story that has one part received the lowest rating until season 26, nearly ended the show, killed off the Second Doctor, and yet is generally considered a classic with The War Games. Right, another review in the bag. Now back to the rest of my life. What's that?